you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
I'm Chris Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, for 2,800 episodes and 16 years, we bring the Chris Voss Show, one of the oldest podcasts, still regularly podcasting, and the host is still alive. I mean, it's kind of where it's gotten to, folks. Podcasting is almost 20 years old, which means most people who started was probably like 30. Wait, I might have been 30 when we started this damn thing, 2009. Anyway, guys, that's all the more reason to help keep me alive. Go to that's the new support we're doing for the Chris. Help keep Chris from dying by keeping him busy. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Facebook.com/Chris Voss, and I think YouTube.com/Chris Voss. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today, an amazing young lady on the show. We're going to be talking to her about real estate investing and some of the transitions and things that she overcame in her life and all that good stuff. Today, we're joined by Christine Valdes, and she is an active real estate investor, entrepreneur, and capital partner, and she's going to talk to us about her journey through life, how she got in the field she does, and how she helps other people achieve improving the quality of their life. Christine Valdes's leadership philosophy was shaped long before executive titles and boardroom conversations. She began her career earning minimum wage, learning early the importance of resilience, responsibility, and consistency. Over the past 3 decades, she worked her way into senior leadership, developing hundreds of professionals and leading large, geographically diverse teams in high accountability environments. Known for blending data-driven strategy with genuine care for people, Christine builds cultures where high standards and human connection coexist. She speaks candidly about the realities of leadership, confidence, built after action, consistency over motivation, and the responsibility that comes with influence, and offering practical insight for leaders navigating pressure, growth, and uncertainty. Welcome to the show. How are you, Christine?
I'm great. How are you, Chris?
I am excellent. It's wonderful to have you on the show. Give us .coms or websites, socials, wherever you want people to find out more about you on the interwebs.
Yeah, you can go to Christine Valdes, that's Valdez with an S.com, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Christine Valdes on LinkedIn.
Give us some of the oversights that you do there at the website and services you offer and activities you're up to.
Yeah, on my website, I do post any capital raising that we have. We actually just closed on a land development deal. So any investors that are looking for passive investments, if there's one that comes across my desk that I think is a good opportunity, I will post it on there. And then sometimes I do give some education on real estate investing.
Passive investing, that's a little bit more active than lazy investing.
Yes, it is. Passive sometimes is lazy. It is sometimes lazy.
It's kind of lazy. Like, I'm just passively doing. Yeah, I'm passively mowing the lawn, honey, here in the hammock with the margarita in my hand. Give us the overall details. So you'll probably be maybe doing future funds in the future. You oversee a team now of real estate investors.
Yeah, I don't oversee a team of real estate investors. I'm actually still at a W-2. So okay. I'm a sales executive. I lead a large team of salespeople. So unlike other real estate investors who leave their job, because a lot of people go, okay, I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do real estate investing, and they go all in and they leave their job. I actually didn't leave my job because I love what I do. So I try to manage the 80-hour a week with looking at different properties while my husband runs his business. And so it's a very busy life, but things come across my desk where they say, hey, do you know anybody that would be interested in this fund, or this multifamily syndication, or this, fix and flip fund, et cetera, et cetera.
So tell us about your journey. You there was a time where you were a single mother living on, I think you said, tell us about what your journey was through life and how you got here.
Yeah, so I was, you go through this journey where I went through college and I'm going to be a doctor, and you go through school and then you get yourself in this situation. When you're in your 20s, you enjoy yourself a lot. And I did get myself in a situation where I did have a child, and it was just her and I. And, at that point you have to take responsibility, but it's really hard when you're having to pay daycare, buy food. And I got myself in a situation where I actually did have to go on food stamps, and with the WIC, I got the WIC checks too. So I got my free peanut butter and eggs and milk. And I had to, and a big block of cheese. You get the cheese every week. And quite honestly, I was trying to figure out, what am I going to do? I had a degree in chemistry, but I wasn't getting paid that much. $12 an hour wasn't very much when you're back then to raise a child and pay for rent and all of that. So I decided to go into sales. But when you go into sales, I thought, I'm going to go into sales because it's going to make me a lot of money. It's very lucrative, but you have to start at the bottom in sales. So you get a sales job that is commission only, and you're really not making a lot of money. You're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But I did it out of necessity, and I just really tried really hard to learn my craft and get really good at it.
Learn the craft, get good of it, make it work and stuff and all that. And when did you come up and decide you wanted to get into real estate?
It was I think it was I'm going to age myself now. It was like 1998. And I said, I'm going to buy a house. It was myself and my daughter. I said, I'm going to save money and I'm going to buy a house. I can do this. And I remember my mom kept telling me, you can buy a house. I go, I can't afford to buy a house. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. There's no way I'm going to be able to buy a house. There's no way. And I kept arguing with her. She goes, you can buy a house. You can buy a house. You know how your mom sounds, when you're that age. And I said, okay, I'm going to start saving. So my sales were outstanding. I was making more money. I started saving. I said, okay, I'm going to buy a house. I kept bidding on these houses. And back then in 1998, was it 98? Yeah. Back then there was kind of a boom in the real estate. And so I wasn't winning any bids. I was getting beat out by people doing larger down payments, cash offers, and I was bidding on 1 and 2 bedroom condos. So I decided, maybe I should do something else. And so I started looking at fixers, and I started looking at programs that would help me buy a house where I thought I was low income. Right? Because I'm a single mom. I don't make a lot of money. So I realized that each city and each county had these programs in California where you can qualify to get a new house if you're in a certain income, because they set aside 5% of new builds to lower income. And so I thought, oh, great. And then you can get a down payment help. Back then it was they'd give you the down payment if you qualified. They'd allow you. So there was a big high rise in San Francisco. And I think the homes were going for 1 million, the 2 bedroom condos back then. Jeez. But if you were low income, you can get it for $450.
What?
And the only stipulation was that you had to live there for 7 years, that you couldn't sublease it, and you couldn't rent it, that you couldn't flip it, couldn't rent it out, and you had to hit this minimum income. So I filled out that application. And then there was almost this, as I was doing all this stuff, there was almost this, I just kept going deep into the research on maybe I could get somebody else to give me more money. And so I didn't qualify for that. I was over by $10. I made $10 too much. But I started looking. Santa Clara County was $92,000 was the minimum income to qualify. I'm like, holy crap. So I started going into it, and then I realized, maybe I should just buy a fixer and fix it. And it was just this journey of deciding, what am I want to buy a house. And it took me down this path of, maybe I can buy a fixer. So I ended up buying a house in Oakland. It was a 3-bedroom, 1 bath that was, priced way low, that, I thought could add a bathroom and we can add value. And at the time I didn't have enough money. So I got a partner to do this house. And the goal was and it was before before people did this, where they lived in the house and flipped it. So the goal was to live in the house for 2 years, fix it, and then after 2 years, sell it, so that there wasn't any capital gains. So that was my first entry into real estate investing. I cut granite in the back. I learned how to put drywall up.
Really?
I learned how to do tile. I learned everything. When you buy the slabs of granite because it's cheaper and you're cutting in the back with a saw and water, So I'd work all day and then I'd come home, and then me and my partner would be putting up, he would get the drywall. I'd hold the drywall with my head. We'd be nailing everything in. So I learned a lot about flipping and fixing houses at that point.
You learn about all sorts of stuff, huh?
Yeah.
And so after that, did you invest in more homes, or where did you go from there?
Yeah, my career was taking off. You have to make a decision, because the fix and flipping I thought I was going to do, but my career was taking off. And then I met my husband to be at that time. And so I decided I'm going to take a step back and focus on the career and the new husband. and then after that, it was probably about 19, it was probably like 20, how many years ago was it? Like 5, 6, 7 years ago. Or 8 years ago, we bought a house and we decided to buy a second home. And because I was starting to panic about how much money we were spending. So then we just dove in and bought a second home. And then from there, we just started looking, and we scaled really fast. I think we scaled to a limited partnership on a couple of apartment syndications. We joint ventured on an apartment. We did a bunch of flips. We probably did 6 flips. We bought another house in Houston. We bought another house, and we moved to Texas. We did all of that in 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, just moving right along. And, and so you kind of caught that wave that was going on around COVID-ish, or
it was like a COVID. Yeah, I saw a little thing on Facebook for join this free class for $17. So, yeah.
Serious?
Yeah, it's true.
Then it worked.
It did work. Yeah. We scaled really fast. Yeah.
Now you're at a point where you're raising money, you're doing funds. Is that understanding correctly?
Yeah, I partnered with, I started, once you go down this journey and you're in the real estate investment and you start to do these things on Saturdays, you meet all these other investors, you start your lingo and your understanding of that world becomes really big. And then you start joining different masterminds and different groups, and you start meeting different people that are always raising funds, raising money for either multifamily syndications, different types of funds, money for a company, different things. And then you get approached to raise funds as well. Most recently, I was approached by a friend of mine that I had met through one of these masterminds, and she was putting a fund together for a land development fund where we would actually fund the land entitlement. And then